The Renaissance, the rebirth that created the modern world. For 1,000 years, Europe forgot how to think. The Roman Empire had fallen. The great libraries were burned. The philosophers were silenced. Science was declared dangerous. And Europe descended into 1,000 years of darkness, disease, poverty, superstition, and war. And then, in one city, in one extraordinary century, everything changed. In Florence, Italy, in the 5th-10th century, human beings rediscovered something they had forgotten for 1,000 years. The idea that the human mind, the human body, the human spirit was worth celebrating. This was the Renaissance, the rebirth, and it changed everything. Why Florence? Why did the Renaissance happen in Florence, a relatively small Italian city, and not in Paris, London, or Rome? 3 reasons: money, the Medici family, and the arrival of Byzantine scholars fleeing Constantinople. Florence was the banking capital of Europe. The Medici family, the most powerful bankers in the world, used their extraordinary wealth to do something no ruler had done in 1,000 years. They paid artists, scientists, and philosophers to think. And in 1453, when Constantinople fell to the Ottoman Turks, Byzantine scholars fled to Florence carrying ancient Greek and Roman manuscripts. Texts that Europe had forgotten existed for 500 years. Suddenly, the works of Plato, Aristotle, Archimedes, and Euclid were available again. And Florence's brilliant minds, funded by Medici gold, began devouring them. The artists who changed everything. The Renaissance produced the greatest concentration of artistic genius in human history. In a single century, in a single city, lived Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Raphael, Botticelli, and Donatello. Leonardo da Vinci was not just a painter. He was a scientist, engineer, anatomist, musician, architect, and inventor who designed a flying machine, a tank, and solar power 500 years before they existed. His painting, the Mona Lisa, is the most famous artwork in human history, and the most studied. Scientists have been analyzing it for 500 years and still discover new things. The eyes that follow you around the room, the landscape that doesn't match on either side, the smile that changes depending on where you look. Michelangelo was 26 years old when he carved the David, considered the greatest sculpture ever created, and 33 when he began painting the Sistine Chapel ceiling, lying on his back for 4 years, creating what many consider the greatest artwork in human history. The scientists who changed everything. But the Renaissance was not just about art. It was about a revolutionary new idea that human beings could understand the universe through observation and reason, not just through faith and scripture. Nicolaus Copernicus, a Polish astronomer, published a book in 1543 that said something the church considered heresy. The earth is not the center of the universe. The earth moves around the sun. Galileo Galilei proved Copernicus right with the telescope he built himself. The church put him under house arrest for the rest of his life. He reportedly muttered as he left his trial, "And yet it moves." Andreas Vesalius revolutionized medicine by doing something that had been forbidden for 1,000 years: dissecting human bodies to understand how they actually worked. Gutenberg and the Information Revolution. All of these ideas, this explosion of art, science, and philosophy, might have remained confined to Florence, except for one invention: the printing press. In 1440, Johannes Gutenberg invented the movable type printing press in Germany. Before Gutenberg, a single Bible took a monk 20 years to copy by hand. After Gutenberg, you could print 3,600 pages per day. Within 50 years of Gutenberg's press, more books were printed than in all of human history before that point. Ideas that had been available only to the wealthy few were now available to everyone. The printing press made the Protestant Reformation possible. It made the scientific revolution possible. It made democracy possible. One invention changed the entire trajectory of human civilization: the Reformation. In 1517, a German monk named Martin Luther nailed 95 theses to a church door in Wittenberg. He was challenging the authority of the Catholic Church. Thanks to the printing press, his ideas spread across Europe in weeks. Luther's central argument was revolutionary: that every person could read the Bible for themselves and communicate directly with God. No priest required, no pope required, just faith. The Catholic Church tried to silence Luther. They failed. The Protestant Reformation split Christianity in two and triggered 150 years of religious wars across Europe. The legacy: the Renaissance changed everything. It gave us modern art, modern science, modern medicine, modern astronomy, and eventually modern democracy. The ideas born in Florence in the 5th-10th century traveled through Gutenberg's printing press, through Luther's Reformation, through Galileo's telescope, and eventually arrived at the American Declaration of Independence and the French Revolution. The American founding fathers were Renaissance men in the truest sense. Thomas Jefferson designed his own house, composed music, spoke 5 languages, and wrote the document that defined modern democracy. Benjamin Franklin invented bifocals, the lightning rod, and the public library. These were not politicians. They were Renaissance men. We live in a world built by the Renaissance. Every hospital, every university, every democratic government, every scientific laboratory, every art museum traces directly back to those extraordinary minds in one extraordinary city, in one extraordinary century. The Renaissance proves something that still matters today: that when you give human beings freedom, resources, and the permission to think, there is no limit to what they can create. Subscribe, because next week we go inside the story of the French Revolution, the event that gave birth to the modern idea of democracy and human rights.